Holy.
I have nothing to report. According to Nguyen, there are no new developments in the litigation that you have or that the department has.
Okay.
And her report is included in your materials.
Actually, I did,
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I did notice that there was one addition, and that is that the United States filed a notice of appeal in the age case on October 1st of 2010. So it looks like that is,
I know that's the case.
yeah.
Go ahead. Mr. Stockton, you had something?
Just real quickly on the Dixon versus Wildlife Commission, Mr. Dixon earlier mentioned that the motion for preliminary injunction was denied, and I spoke to Mr. Dixon's attorney. We had the mandatory early case conference on the phone, and I'll be moving forward with the motion as soon as I can get it done.
Very good. Have any questions, anybody on the commission? Seeing none, we'll move right along
Trail cameras, he's ready.
to trail cameras. Well, we've talked
Any
about
more
this.
mountain lions?
Pictures?
Okay, for the record, Rob Bonamici, Chief Game Warden. Basically, we've done a presentation before on trail cameras. This is a quick recap, and I can figure out how to make this work. Again, trail cameras, they're come in all forms and all, remote uplinks to computers. That seems to be kind of in vogue right now, where you can sit in, a truck 30 miles away, or your house, or what have you, and uplink it to your computer and see what's going on at a spring, water hole, what have you. Current status, they're legal in Nevada. We do have the authority to regulate as it directly relates to hunting. Again, it's similar to aerial scouting. And U.S. Forest Service and BLM have no restrictions. Just some of the pros and cons. Some of the pros, year-round hobby. You can see secretive wildlife. Can be used to sell trophy hunts. Allow non-hunters to enjoy wildlife. Some of the cons, they do get stolen. That's pretty popular nowadays. People go around, steal trail cameras, or they steal the SD cards out of them. Can't restrict wildlife habitat access if habitat is manipulated to funnel wildlife in front of the trail camera. They tend to cause baiting, where people want to bait wildlife so they can get a good shot of it. And as a pro, also a con, can be used to sell trophy hunts. Just depends on your perspective there. And there's ethical issues that go with that. The state surveyed, yes, does your state allow the use of trail cameras for purposes of hunting? The states under the yes column have basically no regulations regarding trail cameras. So they are able to use them. Montana does have a regulation. It's been in place since, I believe, 1999. And it is, talking to Montana, it's worked fairly well. So what we did is we drafted a regulation for everybody to look at down the road. I'll just kind of read you the highlights here of it. It has gone to LCB, so if the commission chooses to pursue it, it would be as a permanent because we met that deadline. Basically, section 1 of it, in addition to the provisions of NAC 503-148, and except as otherwise provided in this section, a person shall not, for the purpose of hunting, locate or observe or assist another person in locating or observing any big game animal in a management unit described in NAC 504-210 during a period beginning 30 days before the big game season opens until the close of the season in that management unit with the use of a trail camera. This all wouldn't fit on there, so that's why I'm doing it this way. With the use of a trail camera, or B, any other device that one is used for photographing or filming by capturing images or video, and two, when used to capture images or video, is not held in a person's hand or manually operated by that person. So a person can be out there with a regular camera taking photographs, telephoto lens, what have you. Then number two describes basically an omission for mountain lion. Since mountain lion season's virtually a year-round season, that does not apply. The 30 days doesn't apply to the mountain lion. We just picked 30 days. It could be 10 days. It could be 24 hours. It's whatever the public wishes. The third section of it, evidence of an act constituting a violation of this section includes, without limitation, A, the possession of a trail camera or other device specified in subsection 1. B, any image or video of a big game mammal that is stored on a trail camera or other device specified in subsection 1. C, any image or video specified in paragraph B that is transmitted to a viewing device at another location. And then there's an exclusion section. The provisions do not apply to an employee or authorized agent of this state, an employee of the municipal or county government of this state, or an employee of the federal government. So that basically is the highlights in a nutshell. Obviously, we just got it in, so we have a placeholder, and then it's subject to whatever tweaking we want to do.
All right, Mr. Howell, that's something?
Rob, does this more or less copy Montana's?
It's similar to Montana's. Montana's is written a little different, obviously, from the standpoint that they have different companion regulations. Their regulations don't read exactly like our other regulations read, obviously. So it is written a little different, but in a nutshell, it's fairly similar.
It's the same.
All right, just from my general perspective here, I'm looking at this item, I'm thinking that if the commission wants to see this item come up, its best place is at subcommittee, so I think there'll be a lot of input on it, and rather than throwing it back straight to the commission. If it is their desire, I would get it on the policy committee, hash it out before it gets brought back. Okay.
I have one question.
Okay, go ahead, and then we'll move right down. These two, and then we'll move down.
Chief Bonamici, I
Yes,
guess
sir.
I'm a little confused as to how does the exemption for mountain lion work? Because if I say I'm putting out a trail camera for mountain lion year round, but I'm picking up deer, I mean, I guess I almost don't see how that could possibly work.
How that works, or is intended to work, is say you have a deer tag, and you're out during the deer, 30 days prior to the deer season. Well, the way it reads is prior to the big game season. Okay, mountain lion is a big game season. So if you have a deer tag or unit whatever, 11, or 111, you can't put out a trail camera 30 days prior to that, 45 days you can't. If we didn't exclude the mountain lion season, then there's a big game season open. That's a big game season. It's considered a big game mammal. So then you're excluded. So it's the way it's written in here. We could have taken another approach and, written it in a different manner. I know where you're coming from, but this is the cleanest way to write it from the standpoint of LCB looked at it, and okay, you've got big game mammals, you got big game seasons, keep the language consistent rather than saying it the way I just said it, which, we can't say prior to your season. LCB says this is the better way to say it.
So I get a deer tag and I get a mountain lion tag.
Yeah.
In others, when I'm putting in, I put in for, well, I actually automatically get my mountain lion tag, and then I get lucky and I draw my deer tag. And so if I draw it for Unit 222, or all of the Unit all the Area 22 units or Area 13 units, whichever one I get, I'm not able to use trail cams in those units for either deer or mountain lions.
No, as this reads, for mountain lions, that would be the loophole, the way it reads, is you can use a trail camera. For mountain lions, you can use a trail camera. If there's a mountain lion season going on,
that
it
would,
doesn't affect your 30-day window.
I think things like that would be the reason why it should go to a policy committee
Yeah.
and hash out those details at that point in time because of issues like that and others.
Yeah, and I
So-
also realize it's hard, just me reading it to you.
Yeah, I probably need to take a look.
So, yeah, I mean, if anybody's got any questions, basically it'd be when we have it in our hands, unless you have just another basic question.
Well, that was my same question, but I'm not sure it was answered.
Yeah, I
I guess
mean,
we'll see
any
how
of
it
those,
goes.
we'd see it at the committee. Committee might not even drag it
It's a
to us.
loophole you could drive a Mack truck through.
So, yeah, there's issues, maybe wouldn't even want to bring it up. Mr. Vogler and Mr. Cadam?
My question is for anybody who has the answer, really. The electronic age has changed hunting dramatically, we all know that. Now, aren't there some things that like called fair chase and different record books and all of those things recognize that you're, which I think there's a fine line like on spotting scopes and communication with two-way radios and all these things may affect fair chase. Is there any policy by the what is it, Boone and Crockett or Safari Club International on the use of trail cameras for spotting game? There is no electronic devices. So if you wanna find a trophy animal right now, and you use all these electronic devices, then you're not eligible to register that as a trophy.
All right.
That might be a better rule and regulation
Kevin.
than anything we can come up with.
I'll clarify that. Boone and Crockett Club allows you to use trail cams as long as they aren't uplinked to a satellite. So if you had a trail cam that was just a standard trail cam, Boone and Crockett, you would not be disqualified in fair chase in Boone and Crockett. And I'm sure they struggled with that long and hard. But to answer Commissioner Macbeth's, I think the reason you exclude the mountain lion is because there's a year-round season. So if there was a year-round season going on, you'd never be able to use a trail cam. So it's just like the flight restriction. It had to be excluded because you'd never be able to fly.
Yeah, no,
Sounds like a great discussion for
Yeah.
a policy committee meeting. That's where I'm throwing it out there, when the language is all sitting in front of us and
It'll still be.
and then we'll all have the perfect solution when we hit that meeting. All right, let's just move right along. We got one item here, and which is G, Department Activities Leadership Team Notes.